Hi there, it's James here from Laptop Repairs London. I just wanted to talk to you today about motherboards because people sometimes say to me, how do you know what's broken on a motherboard? So let me just show you what usually breaks on the motherboard. Quite often this is a desktop motherboard. What will break is a capacitor. Now if you look at this capacitor here, it's nice and flat, whereas on this motherboard, if you look at this capacitor here, it's swollen. Can you see that? It's puffed up. I don't know if you can see that there. This one here also puffed up. So what you need to do, go to the other side, unsolder these 2 points, remove that capacitor and replace it. Now it's very similar on a laptop motherboard because here, I don't know if you can see it, we have capacitors on there. They're these little orange ones, and you should test them for consistency. If they beep, remove it, throw it away, replace it. Same as on these integrated circuits, they often die, which they'll need to be replaced. And if you look carefully on each one of these, you'll see a certain number. All you do is take another integrated circuit from another motherboard with exactly the same number on, usually going to be in the same place. Like here's you've got the processor, so you're going to look for a chip with exactly the same number near the processor. Sometimes a chip will go down near the chipset or near the memory slots, and if you find that, then just find a chip that's near the memory slots and replace it. Again, on this motherboard here, I don't know if you can see that, more capacitors, more integrated circuit chips. They're the ones you want to look out for. Sometimes diodes will die on the board, that's not very often though, and sometimes fuses will die, but as I say, it's not very often. Often it's usually these little orange capacitors that will die on a laptop motherboard and will need to be replaced. So I'm just going to show you now how we replace an integrated circuit chip on a motherboard. That's one of these, and we can do that very quickly if we use a hot gun. I'll show you how we do that now. Okay, so back to the laptop motherboard again, and I'm just going to show you now how we replace one of these integrated circuit chips. You must always use a hot gun, never a soldering iron. It's good practice to put a little bit of flux on the chip first, just to make it come off a lot more easier. There you go, you take it off. Now I'm just going to put this to the side for a sec and I'll show you what I mean by the flux. So we just pick up a little bit of flux. Some people use like a liquefied flux. I like to use this, which is amber rosin, and just put it on the top of the chip that you've just heated up. That's going to melt a little bit, which is what you want. And then when I put the chip back, let's assume this is a new chip. When I put this chip back, it's going to sit nicely. So we come in again, heat it up, get it into place. It's in place. Now, in again with another bit of flux on the top of the chip. That will help it sit properly. A bit more flux. Spin the board round a touch. And we can come from the other side. Make it sit properly. There we go, and that's done. So that's the way to remove a chip. You've got to test these chips. Sometimes you'll test the integrated circuit chips with a meter, and then you'll find that they're broken. So you take them off, and you put a new one on there, and then you find that the new one is broken as well. Well, it's not. It's not the chips at all. Often it's the motherboard. So that's the way to repair a motherboard.